What's happening, everybody? It's time for the truth. I was going to say the Daily Truth. I got mixed up. The Truth Will Set You Free episode. What are we on? 174. That is correct. We got a special guest with us, Bobby Sauce, a.k.a. Take Naps. As we have people entering the playing field, entering the room, go ahead and start putting comments. Hit the like button, smash it. By the way, if you hit it over and over and over again, it actually helps us. Even though it seems like it does nothing and you just see a bunch of hearts, it helps. So go and do that. We're going to get into all of the topics shortly. Bobby, for those of the people out there that don't follow you, introduce yourself, please.
Bobby Sauce, internet comedian extraordinaire, political comedian, commentator, beanbag, bag of rice, yells about things, yells in phone, and talks about the things, not the things that people want me to talk about sometimes. I don't slob Donnie's knob like corn on the cob, and people don't like me for that. And other than that, just fighting the fight, I guess.
Fighting the good fight. You can follow Bobby Sauce at Take Naps. So here's our show top. We have a lot to cover today, so I want to make sure we hit it all. We're gonna make sure. One of the reasons why I want to bring Bobby on, because he is not a knob gobbler of the Donnie Boy, and there was an interesting tweet that we saw last week after the State of the Union. Trump's not a tweet, a truth regarding the fact that he was slamming Biden, but also saying that the MRNA shots that he created cured cancer, kind of agreeing with Biden. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the downfall of Boeing is what I'm calling it. Hur's testimony regarding the senile old man. Liz Cheney potentially withholding information on J6, Kash Patel's situation. And of course, we didn't know we were going to talk about it, but we're going to talk about TikTok and a little bit about illegal immigration. So we've got a lot to talk about in today's show. Let's check in with Casey. How's it going before we get started?
World's on fire, and I wouldn't take it any other way. We're good.
Cash, what's cracking with you?
My lips, they're chapped. I have zero energy. I feel like I'm getting sick.
So Cash went, I don't know, Bobby, you don't know this, but Cash has been a vegetarian for 2 years. We meet some guys. We talk about meat. By the way, this is one of our new affiliates right there. Grid Down Chowdown. I'll throw that up in the bottom. Pretty cool stuff. We all convinced Cash that he needs to start eating meat again. Unfortunately, Cash doesn't do anything in the middle. So he went from vegetarian to carnivore diet, and he's wondering why he feels like shit. Smart. Let
me tell you something, okay? It's not why I feel like crap. It's not my diet. All right.
It's the vape. It's the vape.
It's not the vape. We all know what it really is.
What is it?
I'm waiting.
It's Corona.
You've had Corona 13 times, Cash.
Well, guess what? 14 today, baby. All right. Jesus.
You gonna go get tested,
bro? They keep spraying stuff in the air and the chemtrails and bed bugs and stuff. I don't know. And underpants gnomes. Yeah, there it is.
So I don't know if you guys saw the message I sent. So Cash, really quick, before we get into the show, talk about the one bad experience. So Bobby, we called you from there, but we were at the Reawaken. We were at the Clay Clark podcaster conference, which was actually really, really beneficial, to be totally honest. But there's really good people, but there's also a lot of wackadoodles. So Cash, explain real quick the whole situation with the guy kind of talking shit to you.
Well, all right. So it was really cool. There's a lot of nice people there. Everybody wanted to give hugs and stuff. Hey, how you doing? Exchange phone numbers. Then I walked by this elderly white Klansman, and as I walked by, he says, "Oh, they just let any fucking body in here, huh?" And I just looked back at this dude. He put his head down, and I kept walking, thinking to myself, do I hit this man and go back to prison? Obviously, that's a no. So I went to my chair, and I tried to digest everything. And I'm like, man, can't believe he said that. I'm angry. Then I got confused. So I'm like, maybe it's the way I'm dressed. Maybe I look like somebody that wants to rob him or something. And then I was like, nah, that's not it. That's kind of racist still. And then I was just like, I pity the fool. No.
So
And it was
you
just
didn't.
like,
You were afraid of going back and talking to it. Like I'm like you were afraid of letting me know who it was. So I found a video that perfectly encapsulates because you didn't want to obviously go back to jail or anything like that and get yourself in trouble. But this is what it would have looked like, to be very clear with you. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, what is that about? He doesn't want to see the guy get any more hurt than he is on the internet. Yeah. What is that about?
Let's watch that again. This would have been me coming from the first base side. Guy would have gone, bam!
That was beautiful. I loved that. That was nice.
That's how it would have worked out. All right, without further ado, I think we're ready to start the show.
Let's go. Let's get it going.
Fires, light the fires. All right, keep hitting the like button, share button. This is season number 3, episode 174 of The Truth Will Set You Free. We are going to talk about Trump's truth about cancer and MRNAs, Boeing's downfall, Hur's testimony, Liz Cheney withholding of info on J6, the TikTok ban potentially, and immigration. That's the show topics for today. All right, I did mention the grid down chow down. I'm going to go ahead and start just really quick for the people helping us out. And we are low on numbers to this week compared to the last several weeks. So make sure you're hitting the share button, like button, comment button, all the things. I know it's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday, but that's just the way that it's going to be this week. And we got Bobby Sauce on the show.
What's that? This. You decided to switch today, and now people didn't know what to expect, and it's a surprise. You did this.
We wanted to have Bobby on the show, and that's how it all worked out.
But guess what? Now they're going to see the show late. It's not going to be a live audience.
What a dickhead. Anyways, there we go. So this is the grid down chow down. So we're only doing 15% off the first couple weeks, and then it's going to be 10%. And it's got a 15-year shelf life, and it's real ground beef. Pretty cool stuff. So make sure you check out that website. If it should just auto do it. Actually, just if you have trouble, whatever, just use truth at checkout to make sure you get the 15% off. We'll talk more about the other stuff later, except for tonight we are doing our call. I'm going to keep this going on the bottom. If you are interested in talking about the American products that we do, that we're not just selling and a part of, the Freedom Box, go ahead and put interested in the comments. We've got Amanda Gully in there and Adam, and they're going to go ahead and put the link for the Zoom, and you're going to get to hang out with Cash, Casey, and I don't know about Casey, after the show at 7:30 Central Time. We are going to be on there talking about that. So come join us. All right, that's going to stay on the bottom. Let's start talking. First topic, let's go ahead and go right into it. The wheelhouse. We're going to go ahead and talk about Big Donnie Ball Game's truth. So if anybody remembers the State of the Union address, there was a claim made, which there's no fact checkers clearly anymore, when Biden does a State of the Union, which was complete and utter hot garbage. He did make a statement that the mRNA technology that they're working right now is curing cancer. So the truth in response to the State of the Union comment of that from Donnie Ballgame is the pandemic no longer controls our lives. The vaccines that saved us from COVID are now being used to help beat cancer, turning setback into comeback. You're welcome. Joe, 9-month approval time versus 12 years. That is what it would have taken you. So he's still celebrating what his own audience thinks is garbage, including General Flynn, that we were at the event with General Flynn talking about how dumb of a truth that was. And he's like, I don't even know what to say. Bobby, this is your wheelhouse. Go ahead.
Wow.
What do you think about this?
Oh, God.
Wow. Who could have predicted that the guy that has been saying this for the last however many years would say it again? Who could have possibly foreseen such a blatantly obvious thing? Because while everybody was licking his dirt star for the last 2 years and suggesting that anybody that's not him is a rhino or some type of turncoat or something, because they don't just absolutely suckle down anything that he serves up. It's like, did anybody ever hold him account to it? Did he ever say it was a mistake? Did he ever say that it was bad? Does he ever say that he shouldn't have done it? Did he ever say anything bad about Fauci? No, of course not. None of those things. No one held him to account. They're like, can't wait for Can't wait for Daddy to get back into the White House. Everybody is so stupid and clueless, and we get what we get what we deserve. And this is not surprising. It's going to continue this way, and everybody is so obsessed with this person, this celebrity, that they fail to recognize what he is actually saying and doing. And this is just one of a multitude of many issues that he has done and no one has held him account for. And nobody cares. They just love that we're running the exact same playbook that was ran in 2020. Nobody cares that the slogans are the same. The approach is the same. There's no different strategy whatsoever. Drain the swamp, guys. Let's all drain the swamp. We're draining the swamp by hiring every swamp creature imaginable. But we're going to drain the swamp this time. Don't worry, Patriots. Just wait, Patriots. He's going to come and save us this time. We're about to get clowned. We're about to get goosed. This is going to happen 1,000 times over. Nobody holds him account. The right is absolute trash. The Republican Party is garbage, and they're all serpents and demons. And I'm black-pilled to the wall.
That is, so black-pilled was the word that we were like, how do we describe the way where Bobby is right now? And it's more of a black-pilled situation, which I think a lot of people are.
Because we're all cooked, dude. Because even the people that supposedly believe in freedom and all this other stuff that they say, and patriotism and the rest, completely miss the mark all the time. It's like there's people on the right celebrating this TikTok ban. It's like, are you good, dude? I thought we were doing freedom. I thought we were doing no more laws, no more regulations. They're like, oh, screw TikTok. It's like, if we can't see this, how are we going to see the big stuff, the things that really matter? So we're clueless.
Facts.
We're gonna get it in the dirt star.
And we'll get into the TikTok thing in a minute. Cash, I mean, you were there. We were all there. We'll all get into the dirt star in a minute without you.
Sick.
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, God, bro, like all I want is a better economy. And for my homies that didn't do too much there that day of January 6th to come home. That's all I want. And my man just comes out and says that, like, you, instead of saying about Biden, you're a moron. Biden, you're a moron for thinking that the vaccine kills cancer. No, he comes out and says, you're welcome. It's like he's Maui from Moana. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say is you're welcome. And that I have a problem with. There's a couple things that I've been looking at.
Tell me Cash has 9 children without telling me as a. It's like from the movie Moana. Yeah.
I just watched it today with my
King
daughter.
Goes Moana.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, we're talking politics right now. And right now is all we're seeing is some politics, bruh. That's what's going on. There's politics in these politics from these politics. That's what's going on right now, bro. It's horrible. And this is the thing that really pisses me off about it, right? Here's the thing that really pisses me off about it. Is damn, man, I really like Trump. I do. I like him because of the economy. I like him because he says some funny shit from time to time. But his policies was good for America at the time that he was president. That's why I like Trump. But God, I wish he would shut the fuck up sometime, bro. Just stop. Stop talking. Just talk about policy of those things that you're gonna do. Stop fucking co-signing the stupid shit that comes from the other side. Stop it. Because now you're starting to look, I hate to say this shit, but you're starting to look just like everybody else. It's fucking me up. It's like,
I had very few issues with Trump outside of the vaccine, and now my core issue is the fact that he's still pushing it. And the other thing, we keep talking about the economy, and this is, again, we like to inform the viewers on how to have a better conversation. We need to stop talking about gas prices. There's a bunch of different reasons. First off, gas prices have come down enough where it's not out of the realm of too expensive. Look, you could talk grocery, you could talk about inflation, economy, you could talk about a whole bunch of different stuff. Stop talking about gas prices. It looks foolish. It's easy to rebut. It's easy to talk about and say they're really not down. And also from a good economy, I've followed a lot of economists over the years. A mid-level gas price, like where we are right now, is actually shows a healthy economy. Now, when you get to $5 and it's not affordable, different story. When diesel is through the roof and it's causing shipping issues, different story. But when it comes to just basic gas prices, we can't, when they're at $2.89, $3.05, we have to stop being like, they were cheaper under Trump. They really weren't that much cheaper until the pandemic, and then we can't really use that either. So anyways, Casey, go ahead. What did you think? Because go ahead, Cash, real quick, and then we'll go to Casey.
Sorry. I got to say this real quick, right? So I caught myself doing something yesterday or the day before, whatever day it was. And it was...
Stop telling people you were masturbating.
No, not that. That takes forever, literally. But no, seriously, this dude, he said the whole he's gonna cut entitlements thing, right? And I made a video about it, like, yo, he doesn't mean what you think it means. But I really start to think, why the fuck? This is why I feel that all these politicians do the things that they do and say everything that they want to fucking say, is because people like us come on here and then try to interpret what it is that they're saying, instead of holding them accountable and saying, listen, motherfucker, be direct. Say what you mean. Stop beating around the bush about shit and just say exactly what it is you're going to do. Say exactly what it is you meant by this comment, and just hold them accountable. You know what I'm saying? I think we need to start holding everybody accountable, especially Trump. That's it. Go ahead.
I agree. Casey, go ahead, and then we'll finish this topic up.
To follow Cash, fire them all. Every single one of them. If you have been in office in the last 18 months, I want you removed. Every single one of you. And a lot of this, like, to go back to Trump's statement, I have a big issue with Trump's statement, and I was getting attacked left and right. Like, when we were all at the event, I shared that, and I said, what were your thoughts on Twitter? Oh, he's just quoting Biden. And I'm like, you're forgetting the most important part. He quoted Biden, but never said this doesn't cure cancer. Like, you're missing it. Like, what are you doing? And it's just like what Bobby Sauce always says. Trump can do no wrong to these people. No wrong. He can't. He's human. He can do things wrong. It is your responsibility as an American citizen to hold him accountable when you elect him. And we are not doing that. We are just accepting him as Jesus. That's exactly what they're doing.
I'm going to talk about this in a second, Kim. First off, thank you. I'm assuming that's on Cash's page, but I want to talk about Kim after we finish this topic real quick. So, Bobby, real quick, because, you know, talking about this whole situation when it comes to the flaws of Trump and these massive mistakes, and I still think there's a lesser of two evils, and we're back in that same place. And I still think as a whole, the things that Trump says and does are still a hell of a lot better than obviously the Biden camp, but we're putting ourselves in a bad position. So who do you start putting your verbal support behind on social media and with your voice? And who when it comes to election day, and again, I think we all agree that it's probably not going to be Joe Biden on the left. When it gets to Joe Biden, say it gets to Joe Biden and Donald Trump at the ballot box, what do you do?
You vote for Trump.
Okay.
There's no choice, bro. That's the thing. But it doesn't even. That's the thing is, like, it doesn't even really matter in the whole scheme of things. It's like, yes, Trump is better than Biden. A bag of garbage would be better than Biden. But this is the thing. We had a chance during the primary to talk about real things that matter, to hold Trump accountable for real things that actually mattered. You had a chance. You had the best governor in America. You had DeSantis. You had a guy that actually was able to articulate these things, that was right on COVID, that did so many things right. And if anybody even simply suggested that he would be a reasonable candidate, you're a turncoat, you're a rhino, you got high heels, you're a loser, all this other stuff. So it's just like the people that I supposedly align with, the party that I supposedly align with, whatever, we're so quick to be like, you're a rhino because they don't understand enough about what this guy does, because the cult of personality behind Trump is so strong that you don't care what he says, what he does, or what he has done. Nothing matters about what happened in the past. So, like, to me, I'm almost completely disconnected from it. I don't identify with being a Republican at all. I think that being a Republican is horseshit. I don't even identify with being a conservative, because everybody says that a conservative has to be X, Y, and Z. Oh, you're a conservative, but you don't want your girl to wear a bikini at the beach. It's like, there's all these bullshit ass rules of people pretending that it has to be in this silo, when really these are just labels that we're using to create some type of unity, but they're like weaponizing it against each other. So to me, it's like I take each individual issue one by one. Obviously, everything on the left is bad. Obviously, everything that Joe Biden does is bad. Obviously, Trump is better than him. You have to vote for him, because if you vote for Bobby Kennedy, which I think is not a terrible candidate, you're basically voting for Biden. Sadly, I wish that wasn't the case. But we had a chance to actually hold these two guys accountable, but everybody just ran cover for Trump and said, well, Trump doesn't need to even so much as debate DeSantis. So now that's going to bite you in the ass because you just said for however many months that he doesn't have to debate DeSantis. And now you know who's not going to debate him? Biden. And he's going to shove that in your face this entire time. So it's like you reap what you sow. You made that. You get the bed that you made in. And nobody ever called him out on COVID at the time that it really mattered. Nobody really called him out on any of the stuff that he did when it really mattered. When you had another candidate that you could have put them toe to toe to see how they answered those two things, it's like people would have realized how good DeSantis actually was. But everybody will jump on my back and be like, he's butthurt because DeSantis. It's like, I'm not butthurt because you guys didn't choose DeSantis. There's a lot of things that people don't realize that it seems like some of us just see differently. It's not that I'm right, but it's like, but I've called out DeSantis for a multitude of things. Everybody that sucks Trump's balls, they never say a bad word about anything he does. And they'll call receipts on every single thing that every politician has ever done in their entire life. But Trump will say yesterday, COVID is good, and the vaccine is good. And they're like, oh, they just pretend like they don't see it. So it's like, there's so many people that supposedly are on the correct side of things that fail to even have the self-awareness to understand that they're not doing the thing that they wish that everybody else would do, or that they say they're doing. So we're going to get this shit. So it's like Trump hired all of the swampiest swampers over and over and over again and did all this swampy shit. And people are like, drain the swamp, patriots. Let's all just sit and wait. So we're screwed. I don't know.
No,
Sorry.
good comment.
It's being called out in the chat, but I'm pretty sure I know where you stand, Bobby. You wanted DeSantis on the stage, so at least somebody would challenge Trump to some of the things that we would like to see some answers to. COVID,
Yes.
Operation Warp Speed, and stuff like that.
Yep.
Not necessarily that you were all in on DeSantis, but you
Correct.
wanted seeing someone challenge him on those topics. That was
Yes.
mainly what you're trying to get to, right?
You're
Yes.
a DeSantis voter until you heard otherwise, but you needed to actually hear a challenge. If Donnie Ballgame could have actually given you a reason to vote him, to be more of a supporter of him in the primary, I think you probably would have considered it. But yeah, you were pretty all in for DeSantis.
I think DeSantis is a better candidate, and I think he would have won the presidency over Biden by a long shot.
I agree.
I don't even think it would have been close. I think we would have won. And it's not because DeSantis is so much better. It's just that he's at the very least, say that he's equal. Just give him that.
He is equal.
Okay, so he's equal. So he's equal. So he's equal. He's 30 years younger, right? He doesn't have he wasn't a Democrat until he was 50 years old. He doesn't have all of this track record of hiring all these swamp monsters. It's like, to the average, everyday, middle-of-the-line voter, you got a 46-year-old and an 81-year-old. I think that plays pretty well. So it's like, I just think that he would have had a better chance of winning. And here's the other thing that killed me, that absolutely kills me to this day. And I saw somebody in the chat say it. They're like, do you know who backs DeSantis? Dog, do you know who backs Trump, dude? Do you guys, people, they don't even pay attention to what's actually happening. And like almost every criticism that I ever get is people saying things that Trump does literally the exact same thing. It's like Trump does literally the exact same thing, upside down, left and right. And they're just like, did you know that DeSantis did this? It's like Trump literally does the exact same thing. But let's just pretend.
Sorry, this discussion is not late. You might have jumped in late. We're talking about the fact that Trump did this whole tweet regarding the jab, agreeing with Biden, just saying it was my idea. The reason why it's saving people with the mRNA. I want to make one. Where is it?
You're gonna pull up the one I want to pull up. I see it right there.
Which go ahead. I'm trying to.
Okay, so if you want to talk about Soros and Trump went in on a big building in Chicago.
Yes.
Together. So everybody needs to stop with this Soros funding crap. They are real estate investors, and they all join in together. They don't let politics or any of that come into the play. They just want to make some money. That is what happens.
Here's what I want to chime in on it, right? Here's the two things. All right. Number one, even if it wasn't Soros that backed Trump or backs Trump, there are some equally devious people just like Soros that we can say has funded Trump or helped Trump in some kind of ways. That's just a fact.
Why do you think he's still pro-pharma?
Right.
Now, here's the second thing. That everybody that hates DeSantis, because I say my jokes too, but it's obviously in humor. I like DeSantis. I still like DeSantis. And all of you, most of you like DeSantis up until he said he was running for president. And this is the problem that I have. If you liked him before, now your only reason for not liking him isn't because who's backing him. It isn't because of how he's done in Florida. No, it's simply because he went up against Trump, and that's a problem. That's not cool.
It's not even that. Bro, it's not even that. That is the point. It is not even that. It is not because he ran against Trump. It's because Trump said he's bad. Everybody likes Vivek. Vivek ran against Trump. He did the exact same thing, but everybody loves Vivek. Oh, Vivek, he's so young and fresh. He's so good. He's the future of the party. Oh, it's not about running. It's Trump. Trump and his surrogate said his wife faked having cancer. He's a pedophile. Like he's a rhino. Dude, it's because Trump said boo, and everybody's like, yes, daddy. Yes, daddy. We hate him now. Let's just completely forget every single thing that we've seen ever because he said it now. Dude, it's not about because he ran. It's because Trump said boo. That is the exact reason why.
And I 100% agree with that. We had the same issue when Trump attacked Vivek just before he dropped out. No one wanted to, like, no one really went at it, Vivek, until Trump really went after him and said,
right.
And so it is 100% on point. I agree with you.
Yeah. All right. I want to this comment.
Sanctimonious.
Jesus. Hold on. So gas is not that cheap for poor people. You are right. I understand that. I'm not saying, like, I want to be very clear. I'm not saying like, oh, you guys need to stop complaining about gas prices. I'm saying if we are targeting our arguments on what is going wrong in the economy, don't just stop talking about gas. Gas is on the way back up. Now, if we're talking election time and it's $5.50, pump it. But for the last several months, we've been like, gas prices were cheaper under Trump. I'm like, Texas, it's $2.50. California, it's $3.90, $4, which isn't terrible. Just be smarter with the arguments. Real quick, now let's talk about Kim Whitaker. Kim, thank you very much. Kim was somebody that for the Great American Summit that we just did this last year, I've used her as a reference. She literally is somebody that she came to the event she traveled out with her husband who is a veteran. And on top of it, she paid for 10 veterans tickets to come to the event. And Kim is not somebody that's rolling in dough. She said it meant something to her. I remember when I got the phone call or the Facebook message and we talked on the phone. Everybody knows I'm a crier. I was crying because of how much it meant to me. So Kim, you are always appreciated. You didn't need to do that. I'm hoping it was $40. If we need to refund, we could figure that out. I'm just kidding. But no, I'm taking it. We're taking it. All right. Thank you, Kim. That's all I wanted to talk about, Kim, because she's the shit. All right. And again, guys, if you're wanting to come later on this evening, and Amanda, go ahead and just put put interested in the chat, but Amanda, go ahead and leave the Zoom for us to talk later. Again, we'll be on a private Zoom with just you guys at 7:30. So Amanda, if you're watching, drop that in the comments, the actual Zoom link. All right, next topic. Let's just go right into TikTok Anonymous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bill, so who wants to explain the bill that passed through the House?
I'll do it. It's bullshit. That bill is bullshit. That's what it is. Trying to fuck
Why
up
is it
my
bullshit,
TikTok.
Cash?
Because TikTok is one of the greatest inventions that has ever came into the world, bro.
Oh man,
it really
Jesus.
is.
I think TikTok sucks,
is
but I
dope.
think
You
it's
guys are haters,
bullshit.
bro.
You're acting like you were locked up in jail or prison for like 3 years or something.
Yeah, right. Okay, so
No.
Casey, explain what happened with TikTok.
So they are banning TikTok. Well, not necessarily banning. They're forcing TikTok to sell from their current people to move it to hopefully to a safer place instead of not in power and control of the CCP. And that is summarized in a very vague sense. Like there's a lot of stuff in the legalese that is put in there. Like if there's 20% ownership or if they are here or there are some things that is in this bill, but they're trying to get it to sell off, not get banned entirely, separate and come to a safer place to where the content is stored and also the algorithm is manipulated not from anybody that is in power in China or a foreign adversary. That is the whole goal of this bill. Now, there's concerns with it because it does state presidential power quite a bit through this bill. And so that is a concern. I don't see it as a whole lot of concern because there's a lot of restrictions in outlining specifics in where it is applying to TikTok. But that is the generic sense of this bill. Now, I'm curious what everybody else's senses are because there's some more stuff.
Bobby's got a smirk.
No, it's not a smirk. It's just, I don't know. Do it. So you like it? You think it's good, Casey?
I would like to see it more perfected, but I don't think I will get that out of this government. I don't think they would.
What does perfected look like?
That it applies to all social media platforms, not just TikTok.
Why social media? What is social media
So mostly what it is I want to see algorithms that are either open sourced or also not targeting children. That's what I would like to see.
So you want the actual verbiage of the bill to be corrected to actually talk about the fact that it's not taking anything away, not taking away the capitalistic rights or the individual rights of these companies, except for making it more open source, and the only control is around children. And you're saying not just on TikTok, but all platforms. You're not saying to ban anything. You're saying
TikTok,
but that's a far stretch between the bill that's current and the bill that you want. So
Right.
two different things.
The problem I have with TikTok, and I'll just clear this out and Bobby jump in, but TikTok's algorithm is far superior than any other social media platform that's out there. Like, look at Bin Laden. The whole thing that was pushed about Bin Laden wasn't a bad guy. And then the pro-Palestine argument, all of those are pushed through TikTok. No other social media platform. And it's growing like wildfire. But go ahead, Bobby.
So what does that mean?
The algorithm that TikTok has to be able to push content and manipulate people to change their ideas is so powerful compared to X, Facebook, Instagram. There's no comparison.
Why is it so powerful? How do you know that they're manipulating anything? How do you know that that's just not how people are behaving naturally?
Well, that's a good point. One of the biggest things that I hate about this situation is they exposed it when this started coming out. TikTok pushed out an update to their app that they would prompt all of their users to reach out to their US users and have them connect with their representatives to not pass this bill.
Yeah, I think that's fine. What's wrong with that?
That you don't see any problems with that?
No. Why wouldn't you do the same if you had a company?
Not well.
If you had a company that was in Taiwan and they were trying to ban your company in Taiwan, and you know that there's 100 million users using it, wouldn't you be like, hey, call your local congressman and tell them not to ban this product here?
Sure.
So what's wrong with that?
This is not banning. Again, it's forcing divesting.
That's pretty significant. The federal government can demand that you have to sell your company to a U.S.-based company to operate in that country.
As a foreign adversary. So you have to be a foreign adversary.
It's a foreign adversary. It's a foreign adversary that we let buy farmland in America. It's a foreign adversary that we let sell products to America. It's a foreign adversary that we've loaned hundreds of billions of dollars from.
Agreed.
It's a foreign adversary that Joe Biden himself has said, I'm friends with Xi Jinping. Trump has said, I'm friends with Xi Jinping. We talk to them, we communicate with them, we trade with them. They're in our country. They sell us products that we owe them money. They're in every single aspect of American life, from Hollywood to technology to computer chips. Every single possible thing imaginable, they're in everything. But in the case of TikTok, let's ban that when they're literally everywhere in everything.
You think that we can't start somewhere? Because we have how many states that banned China from buying property within their state? I want to say it's around 6 to 8.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're starting to build building blocks to separate ourselves from foreign adversaries, which is a popular word today, but just enemies of our country. And so we need to start somewhere. And I think this bill is a decent starting point for that. It's not super ruthless.
It is ruthless. It's banning.
Would you say Utah banning China buying land in Utah is ruthless?
No.
When you could do it in Nevada?
Purchasing farmland is a lot different than selling off the ownership of a mobile app where people are communicating with it. I don't even see how those things could be connected.
I feel like they're messing with free speech, bro. Because look, this is the thing about TikTok. Right?
How are they not?
Look, this is what I'm saying. My TikTok feed wasn't full of none of that. Anything with what you're talking about at all. My TikTok feed is pretty cool. Like, I go on TikTok and it's always gonna be some good, cool stuff that I'm interested in and pops up on my feed. It's not promoting anything to me except like the light and stuff like that. The microphones, that's the stuff that gets promoted. All the other stuff, I've not seen anything about Palestine. I haven't seen anything about Israel. I've seen nothing like that. So that's why I say TikTok's pretty dope, bro. I think it comes down just like Facebook or Instagram. When you go on there and you start looking stuff up, then it will put stuff into your feed. That's why my TikTok is full of fun, weird shit. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with
it. Well, this whole thing, by the way, started with Donald Trump. Donald Trump was the original one trying to ban TikTok, by the way. Bobby, go ahead.
How much of a here's a question. How much of a foreign adversary, how much of an enemy is China? If they are already in all of our stuff, we owe them money, they sell us products, we sell them products. How do they have to be our adversary? What is the adversary? What are they doing that's so much worse than any other country?
Well, I think what they're in terms of, again, I'm still listening on this topic in terms of how I feel, and because I don't know all the details of the bill. But what I will say is they're an adversary from a perspective, and I agree with you, because I'm like, we still do. Everybody's like, China's the enemy, which I think they are from a war perspective. But however, I think people are like, we don't really do that much business anymore. Everything is still from China. 90% of the shit we use is still from China. So it's tough to say that's an adversary. If we truly go to war, it's much easier. Instead of them being a guns to guns and airplanes and whatever, the war would simply be like, you don't get any more products. And especially if the threat becomes
we'll put Ebola on your kids' toys when we send them. It could be something like that. It's as simple as that. Everything in America, which is why we're trying to promote this freedom box that we have. If you have not seen that, you guys need to go ahead and do that. But everything that comes in comes from China. Everything is China. So if they really were an adversary that wanted to take us out, don't you think they could do something in the fabric of your clothing or in the technology that you use? Like, come on.
And the big thing is, if BRICS continues to grow, that it is the way that it's growing from a financial standpoint, like China still relies on the American dollar from how much we spend, how much trade goes on. I still believe the whole reason coronavirus happened, especially, is because of the fact of Trump's trade policies, which I don't like kowtowing to terrorists. So I don't disagree with what he did, but I think that was the cause and effect, is the way that we look at finances with China. If they get to the point where they don't need the American dollar and BRICS becomes a bigger currency, that's where they're an adversary. So we still need to find.
So does China use the American dollar?
Is India an adversary then? Are all the other countries that use that, are they not doing that to protect themselves because we've been weaponizing the dollar against them?
No, no.
Are they not doing what would be reasonable?
China. There's a difference between China and India, and I do believe China has made it very clear that they want to take over the world. During the coronavirus, they literally were buying up third world countries.
Well, then maybe we should stop buying stuff from them. Maybe we should start doing a multitude of other things, but this documentation, this bill that is specifically targeting TikTok, it's like you're robbing my house, but I lock one window. It's like, oh, well, it's good that we're starting to lock the windows, but it's like, yeah, they're already in the house. They're inside the house. They own the house. The house is on fire. It's like, oh, we're locking this one window that specifically affects us and the ability to distribute information. And like what you're saying about Palestine, for example, let's just use that as an example. You're like, oh, information spreading about Palestine, it only happened on TikTok. Well, what if they were right?
What
if they were
correct? If you were right? Like, no, it's the amount of people.
China shit.
When it comes down to the whole thing with the algorithm, TikTok's algorithm is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. There's a reason why I deleted it. It made it way too easy to keep scrolling, and then for some reason every time I would scroll, content got more engaging. Yeah, I do not like that. And
why would you not like that?
Well, you have the freedom.
You don't like a product doing the thing you want it to do?
It's a successful product that unfortunately our human brains have trouble dissociating with addiction. And I think the ultimate thing is that's a self-responsibility issue. And I don't.
It is.
You can say that about anything.
I wanted to say it. It comes down to you.
Ban cigarettes.
Going to make you fucking pick it up and look at it.
Ban alcohol. We should ban alcohol because it's bad. Ban it.
Do you guys believe in propaganda?
Absolutely. It's everywhere.
Believe in what?
Would you allow another country to feed propaganda to your children without any observation from your point?
I get what you're saying because of the algorithm.
They already do.
Yeah.
Watch your kids.
What about
That's all.
Hollywood? What
Take
about
the
TV?
phone.
What about radio? What about magazines? What about books? They're
And
already
they've been
everywhere.
doing it for
But
70
so
years.
just
There-
because everybody's going to do it, we have to accept it. We can't start somewhere.
Well, we
Then why
can't.
don't then start at movies? Why don't you start at the movies? Because you know
Movies
what
are falling apart as it is right now. They're
Are
they?
losing money.
Are
If
they?
we start anywhere, I'll say if we start anywhere, then there's no place where it'll stop. That's the thing.
Yes.
and that's the
I can
argument
understand
we
that.
have with all of the issues happening to conservative voices right now. Is like they've started with us, and then we try to tell the left like they're going to start with us, and trust me, they'll end up with you, and that's where you got to be. So if they start with this, I mean, I'm leaning towards a non TikTok ban heavily. I think it's stupid. Just because of the fact that it is an encroachment of rights. I do believe it's impossible to parent anymore. Like they've made it very difficult, but not impossible. It's very difficult. And fact is, we can't trust shitty parents. It's just the way that it's going to be. Unfortunately, we have to find a way to counter it in a way that's not restricting everything that is American. I do want to say something about this. All the shit from China is freaking, that is a speaking point that has been used for 20, 30 years. There's a lot of shit that comes from China, not all of it.
But
Trust
it's
me,
not
some
true.
of the shit that you have is this shit. Do you think your phone the screen behind you that I'm using? Do you think the camera that I have? Trust me, there's a lot of quality products from China.
Yes.
You know,
That's right.
you know, I just check it out, man. You all understand, right, that for a nation to be successful, for you to have the things that you have to deal with other nations. You have got to, because there's something that they have that we need, and there is something that we have that they need. There is some all over. This is how it works. This is how our civilization is dope as it is around the world. Like human civilization, it came from trade. It came from trade with each other. All right. When you start looking at a political aspect of it, then you could say, oh, there's the devil, the CCP, which no one likes the CCP. We know the CCP is crap. I get it. I understand. The CCP is horrible to the people over there. Cool. I get it. But over here, it ain't that. Over here, it ain't. Well, it's kind of becoming that, I guess, slowly. But we ain't there yet. All right. I think that a ban on TikTok is, I feel like it's a violation of my rights. I have the right to use TikTok. You don't have the right to take it from me. I don't see nothing wrong with it. If you have a problem with your kids being addicted to it, then take the goddamn phone from your kid. Take the phone, take the tablet, put a ban on it, monitor the Wi-Fi use. There's all kinds of things you can do. If that's the biggest gripe that you have is that, oh, they're seeing things they shouldn't be seeing, then make them not see it. Take the phone. Monitor them when they're on the phone. It's not hard.
I don't disagree with that. I don't. I understand your stance. My kids have very restrictive time for their tablets, and we also have it set to where they can't install any apps that they want. We know what they're going to be installing, and social media is not one of them.
Not you, Casey. This wasn't geared towards you, brother. Just so you know.
I know.
Oh, it was geared towards Casey.
Oh yes, with all the hatred in the world. I'm just kidding. When it comes to this whole situation with TikTok, I just have huge problems when it comes to one of the enemies of our country, and I do believe they are an enemy of our country, even though we do exchange goods with them
and money and everything.
Hollywood. When it comes to them, I do not think that they should have the power to push immediate propaganda to our citizens. That doesn't sound like a great idea,
bro.
Is television not pushing propaganda? Is Facebook not pushing propaganda? Is TikTok
not from
not pushing?
another country?
Is Instagram pushing up?
China has investments in pretty much every area of entertainment.
Everything.
It's not just
everything.
TikTok. I mean, I
they
get
own
that
AMC.
TikTok is hyper accelerated, but
They own AMC, the movie theater chain. They own Hollywood. They decide which projects make it in Hollywood, which ones don't. They can modify scripts and stuff, or they won't let them have access to their markets. They already have plenty of control of propaganda. TikTok differentiated from Hollywood is one where you can individually have nothing to do with that. You could go on TikTok and you can watch woodworking videos and car videos and sewing videos, and you could only watch those things forever and have nothing to do with anything at all. And if you want to say that, they can't push propaganda. Okay, first of all, who's the arbiter of the propaganda? Secondly, if TikTok, then why not every other app? Is this not more government? Is this not more oversight? Is this not more rules? Is this not more law? Is this not an arbiter of truth? If you wanted to ban your kids from using it, you could install those apps on your phone to prevent them from doing it. You could prevent them from using that specific application. The government does not have to be your daddy in every single situation. And more laws, more restriction, even though they're saying it's for these specific things now, they will change later. I made a video about this today. The income tax was originally created to tax really wealthy people to help finance the Civil War, and then later to finance other wars. And 160 years later, we still have the income tax. And it's not 2 or 3%, it's 30, 40, 50%, and it's all these people paying it for 160 years to finance no war at all. There's nothing as permanent as a temporary government program. They're only going to say that it's going to cover these things, and then it's going to cover a multitude of things. They're going to start banning websites that they don't like under the guise of it being propaganda. They're going to ban social media apps. This is just one of a very, very slippery slope, and it is not a starting point, and it's a complete delusion where it's like, if we just do this little piece, then eventually we can expand it to cover all these pieces. It's the Patriot Act. Oh, it's just to cover terrorists. Then you change how you define a terrorist, and then everyone's a terrorist. Yep. It's more government. It's bigger government, dude.
I agree. I'm usually on your side with this. I usually am. The problem is this bill, if you read it very specifically, it is very explicitly targeting
for now
TikTok and ByteDance.
For now.
And so for now, but you have to have another bill come in and amend that, right?
Yeah, but then, like he just said, it becomes permanent.
It opens the door, man.
So do you have a specific example of the propaganda?
Yeah, Bin Laden's America to letter to America.
What about
no one talked about that until it was going viral on TikTok.
That's a good thing.
But the thing is that propaganda also can spread to other places. I think it's hyper accelerated by TikTok because the algorithm functions better. But I still think we have to not ban them. But yeah,
what propaganda? What's the propaganda? Hey, he wrote a letter. Go read the letter. What's the propaganda?
They pushed a positive perspective. But the thing is,
it said, Bin Laden did no wrong.
Everything.
Wow.
Everything.
People are wrong about stuff. Who's to say who's right and who's wrong? I read that letter. I probably wouldn't have read that letter had the marketplace not risen it to visibility. And then I, as a human being, as a discerning adult, can decide whether or not I think it's right or wrong. People being wrong about something doesn't mean that you need to ban it.
Right.
I don't know if Elisa is trying to get you to take your shirt off, but I did find it funny that you are on the side of big government and you're wearing the big government sucks shirt. Anyways.
No, I get that. I get that. That's why I said I'm normally on that side. I am.
You should get on this side, bro.
It's TikTok. I do hate them.
But hating TikTok, dude.
I'm just explaining. I get what you're saying. I do hate TikTok. I uninstalled and I stopped using the app a year ago.
We're moving on. WakeNotWokeStore.com. Since you're mentioning the shirt, Big Government Sucks is on there. You could just wear, even though Casey is a fraud today, you can use cash for 20% at checkout. So that's on the bottom. Go to WakeNotWokeStore.com. All right. Next up, we're gonna speed through these last couple topics.
Oh Jesus.
We may not talk about her testimony. I'm gonna cross
this is
that
a good.
up.
I feel like this is important. This is an important topic, don't you think? I don't know.
Yeah. We're beating a dead horse.
We're beating a dead horse.
We're not beating a dead horse. This is extremely important.
Good. This is actually really good.
I think we're all in agreement that Casey might be wrong on this one. I think that's where we are.
Let me. Sorry, I hate to interject, but okay, let's use the example of the Bin Laden letter. Okay, Bin Laden is bad. Yep, we all agree Bin Laden is bad. Okay, fine. The letter was circulated by the market, the free marketplace of ideas. The only place that it was theoretically allowed to circulate was this one app. That's where it happened. Let's just say, for the sake of the argument. Okay. I read the article. I read the what he wrote. As a discerning adult, I can determine whether or not I like it or don't like it.
Sure.
Okay. People can say that they think he's good or he did no wrong, and that's messed up. But it's not our place to say that they can't say that.
Valid.
Now, Bin Laden worked for the U.S. government. He worked for the CIA. He worked literally for us. He was our informant. In that document, he put a lot of the blame for why they attacked us on Israel. Mm-hmm. We happen to be involved directly, indirectly, however, with some conflict that's related to Israel.
Right.
A conversation of discerning adults realizing that he said this and asking questions about this thing where it was really only able to circulate in this one place to me is probably a good thing. Light coming onto it. I think that's good. So who's going to ban that? Are we going to make sure that Facebook doesn't limit that? Are we going to make sure that Instagram doesn't limit that? Are we going to make sure that YouTube doesn't limit that? If those platforms are doing that, which they are, then we take TikTok out of the equation. What do you have now? All you have is X. So now Elon Musk is the long pen 15 of information. And if he decides one way or the other, private company with no transparency at all. Now, so we're gonna have gone through the last however many years of restricted speech, and we're gonna go, yeah, we should restrict speech because China.
Okay.
How could we want more restricted speech? I don't understand that.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
It's crazy.
When it comes to this scenario, let's take this scenario. Let's take this scenario of Bin Laden's letter, right? And Bin Laden's letter of saying, let's say he was saying Joe Biden was the greatest president ever, and he was pushing it in September of this year. Do you think he could manipulate an election if that letter was going viral on TikTok in September of 2024?
Whether or not, let's say that the answer is yes, but then everybody should be able to manipulate they're manipulating elections on TV. They manipulated elections on Facebook. They manipulated on Instagram. Everything is a manipulation. Everything is propaganda.
Sure.
It's all there. So to just selectively say like, oh, well, this one thing, everything is doing that everywhere all the time, every single day. They're all doing that.
Okay, that's valid. But when you have, hang on, hear me out.
I'm getting somewhere.
No, I agree with you on a lot of this. The part that I'm trying to get to when it comes to this topic, when you are talking about 18 to 22-year-olds that are voting for the first time, and the only platform they use is TikTok, because that is their age group. They're not using Facebook, Instagram, the news. They use this one platform. And we're talking about the biggest group that is growing in population that is in America today. You don't think that is manipulating our country going forward?
No, because if they're choosing to use TikTok, that's just for now. What if the next app gets created? What if a company in Louisiana creates a similar TikTok platform that does the same thing, that pushes the same propaganda, that pushes the same whatever? Do we ban them now because of the propaganda? Or is it because it's tied? No, it's because it's tied to China.
It's because it's controlled by a foreign adversary. It's very explicitly called out in the bill.
Well, isn't a domestic terrorist a foreign adversary?
No, we have 7 foreign adversaries that are distinguished and designated by Congress and our government. So where do we define domestic terrorists? That is a moving target that is never established by our government or anything like that. There is a due process that does take place before they become a foreign adversary. Do we not trust that process either?
No, I don't trust anything that limits the ability for people to disseminate information, regardless of who may or may not be in control of the algorithm. Free speech is free speech. Speech is speech. Yes. We've already been limited enough. Yeah, the bill probably it sounds very good in the bill. It looks perfect until they change it when nobody's paying attention. Till they change it on New Year's Eve. Till they change it at Christmas. Till a bunch of people on the other side of the aisle have the Congress and the House or have the Congress have the presidency and have the Senate. Then they say, oh well, if you're a domestic terrorist, then you fall into this bill too. Oh well, now this country is an enemy as well.
Okay.
Yo,
they can just go.
We've forgotten.
We're adding more laws. It's like, how can we want more laws? I don't know. I just don't get that.
Did we forget how pissed off we all were at YouTube and Facebook for their calling us what we were talking about misinformation, and then it comes out that what we were talking about was true, and then they banned us, and then how do you know that's not going to happen with TikTok? How do you know the stuff that they're saying that right now we believe is propaganda, and then later on comes out, oh shit, it was actually true?
You can't ban propaganda. There's this great quote from Al Franken, who I don't really like, but he says it's easier to wear slippers than carpet the whole world. And it's like, if you say that this is propaganda, the definition of propaganda changes, the definition of foreign adversary, the definition of enemy changes. And it's like, oh, they're manipulating elections because young kids are on TikTok. Well, young kids like to use TikTok. If young kids were on X, Y, or Z platform, it's like, then you're chasing an always moving ball. I think that those kids have the right to be wrong and be served information that is wrong, because you're getting wrong information on television. You're getting wrong information in the movies. Quite frankly, you're getting wrong information from your own politicians in real time. So it's like, how do we protect everything? How do we protect everyone all the time? You can't. And giving them more power, whether it be for this small reason now, will ultimately end up as more power for more things later. It's a slippery slope, and this is how all bad things start. The road to hell is paved with good intention, and they're like, oh, it's because of China now. Sooner or later, it will be any and all things. They're banning websites. They can ban a website because it's associated with China. What's next? It's like you're just giving them more power that they will ultimately modify to fit whatever their means are. And not to bring this into the forefront, but this is a really interesting parallel that I can try to draw here. If you use the word anti-Semitism, for example, anti-Semitism is this defined definition of what anti-Semitism means, and it can change and be modified. But then there's these other laws that are written based on anti-Semitism, but anti-Semitism, the actual meaning of that word, is an evolving, modifiable thing. So over here, where it says the bill, it just says anti-Semitism, but over here, they can change what the meaning of that word is and what it encapsulates. So a foreign adversary or a propaganda or whatever, that word can be changed in definition without the bill changing, and then it can cover a broader scope of things. That's how they do it. They write it in a way that seems good. They write it in a way that convinces enough people on the right to co-sign it, and then they modify the meaning of those terms to change what it does without actually changing the bill. And that's exactly what has been happening over and over and over again. And anti-Semitism is the perfect, most relevant present-day example of them doing that.
I mean,
You're not wrong. I agree with you, because we went through that with COVID. Like, what did we do with COVID? We changed the definition of racism. We changed the definition of vaccines. And
Yes.
we've done that. We didn't have those really in bills, so I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
The part that I'm curious about, and that's what I was just pulling up, is the determination of foreign adversaries. And one thing I was hoping that is in here, but it is not, is I was hoping it requires 2/3 of the vote. That would give me a little bit more comfort in determining a foreign adversary. But if it doesn't require 2/3 of the vote in Congress, then it is very simple for anybody to change as long as you have a majority, right? So you have to have a majority of the House, majority of the Senate, and then it can be signed by the president. 2/3 of the vote makes it a little bit more comforting, and we don't have that. And so you make a very valid point that I think I do need to change my position a little bit on that, because of foreign adversaries.
Yo.
So thank you.
Cooking in this. Hey, we cooking right now, baby.
Let's go. That's crazy, dude.
Because if it had 2/3 of the vote, I wouldn't be saying that. But no,
I'll take it.
if it's 51% is all you need to change a definition, no one would notice that.
Yes,
Now we're
exactly,
cooking with
bro.
Valid point. Valid point.
Thank
Well,
you.
that's a victory. Let's move on to our last topic. We're gonna
That's wild, dude. I gotta say, I appreciate that.
And
That's
I
great.
honestly, I
ahead,
started this
Bobby.
conversation out listening because I didn't know the whole bill. So I listened to Casey and I listened to Bobby, and I was already on the more free speech side. But I think that the argument was made further, and then Casey found a way that he looked at the bill that could be dangerous. So boom, that's how you have a conversation with people that mostly agree that on one thing didn't. So this is something we do agree on. Immigration is absolutely terrible. I want it because this is more. We got a little inside baseball, so I want to make sure we cover this topic. The topics that maybe we'll talk about another time later tonight. Maybe I'll do a late show. I don't know. We'll talk about Boeing suicide. I fly all the time, and this is the first time I've been terrified. What? He Hillary Clinton himself. I'm actually kind of concerned flying lately. I found out that Boeing is using dish soap to lube up their doors also.
Cash,
Cool.
don't get any ideas.
Yep. Cash, you know what? You should do a little thing later about Liz Cheney withholding info on J6, not about dish soap being lube. And then we're just going to really quick talk about immigration right now. The Hur testimony? You guys can look it up. It's not that flashy. So you've got the immigration issue, obviously, talking about all the gangs in Haiti. Casey, we talked about we need to bring this up. I actually have something else interesting. So, they're always afraid of and this is all part of the immigration. There's a lot of videos out there of these immigration centers that are showing these war age, whatever they call them, war age men or fighting age men. I don't care about the terminology. Yeah, military age men. Fact is, it's just too many immigrants that are coming in illegally that are definitely not even from Mexico anymore. So interestingly enough, my buddy, this is not anecdotal. Well, this is anecdotal. This isn't he said, she said. In Denver, Colorado is a sanctuary city. He was working an event today. I used to be in the event space. I still am, but he is an event brand ambassador. It was a $25 an hour cash gig. That's unheard of. You get paid cash at the end of the event. Predominantly people that were working were Venezuelan. He said most people did not speak English. They did their gig. They were, however it was, maybe it didn't involve speaking much. They got paid cash at the end. So they're hiring these people. His buddies wanted to work with him, but all the positions were full. This isn't a $7 an hour job picking something in the middle of a field. This isn't hard labor. This is something very basic for $25 an hour cash that now American citizens, many of them were not able to get the job because sanctuary city, Venezuelans coming up. You got Venezuela, you got Haiti, you got all these different things, Haitian gangs all across the board. This is a real story of they're going to take our jobs. And it's actually legit at this point. Casey, what do you want to talk about Haiti real fast?
Just real fast. We need to fortify our border even more than we have in the past. And we have not been focused on Florida, but the route for these people is Florida's coastline. And that is not what we're all focused on right now.
Luckily, we have a rhino governor. Luckily, this pedo rhino with heels that never did anything good. Unfortunately, he's the one in charge. He won't do anything about it.
I don't disagree.
Just kidding. He's the best governor in America. He's the only one that actually would do anything about it. So if they came to Florida, that'd be about the best place that they could come because they're going to get clapped in short order.
I don't disagree. And I don't disagree with this. I mean, I'm not blaming the illegals. I'm blaming the government for letting that mass amount over. And I'm also blaming the businesses for continuing to hire. Cash, you were about to say something?
No. I mean, I agree. No. I definitely don't blame the people that are coming over here. I mean, if you lived in a shitty place and you had the opportunity to go to a place of milk and honey, you would do that, so I don't blame them at all. I literally blame the people who are supposed to be in control of our national security and our border. That's who I blame. I don't blame the people at all. But I am a little concerned about it because shit, I mean, they letting over people that, Haiti ain't no playground, man. Haiti, hey, you get your ass chopped up with a machete. I was locked up with some Haitians. It's real over there, so dude, definitely should be concerned about it.
Now, it is the whole thing with the Haitian gangs being cannibals. Is this a real story?
Dude, go on to Twitter. There are literally men
put
on like rotisseries and over a fire.
Yeah. Oh no, it's definitely real. I told you the story about my little friend from I don't know, it was El Salvador or Honduras or somewhere, and his dream, his fantasy. Luckily, he's away for life. He's never coming home. But his fantasy was not only to chop somebody up with a machete, but to eat a piece of them. That's his fantasy.
With or without sauce? Are we? If he moved to Texas, he'd have to get his
cannibal. I don't think he would do it.
No. Yeah. No, not sauce. I meant, would you put sauce on
I know what you meant. I just
meat?
did. I know. I made it funnier.
Oh man. Oh my stars is right.
I do not endorse this message.
So it is. So to answer the question, it is real. And there's even a guy by the name. Now, the thing is, they like to try to make it not real because there's a video that's really, really old. And they're essentially saying, they were like, these are the Haitian gangs coming across the border right now. And the fact check is going, oh, this was dated 2016 or whatever the heck it was. It's not the right footage. But fact is, these Haitian gangs are still the biggest gang leader in Haiti. I just got a bit of information. The guy's name is Barbecue.
Yes.
You could figure out why his name is Barbecue, and it's legit. Yeah. Like, it is a legit effed up thing. I think that's how we're going to wrap up the show. I'm going to really quick touch on a couple things. Then we're going to have everybody's goodbyes. As you guys know, the water that I always drink, go to centuryh2o.com. Use Russo10 for 10% off. We just installed the system in Kelly's trailer today. It only took way too long because it was whatever. Anyways, but it's really good stuff. We already talked about the Grid Down Chow Down. Make sure you check that out. Our gear. you know where to go. awakenotwokestore.com. Use cash for 20% off. I get my supplements from the Dr. Artist Show, BFD at checkout for 10% off. I just covered everything. Now, the big thing is if you want to talk with Cash, Casey, are you going to make the call tonight?
Yeah, I'll be there.
So Casey will be there. We're going to put in the Zoom right meow. If you want to join us to talk about American products, Cash, before we do the goodbyes to everybody, explain to everybody why we're shopping American now and we're using Freedom Box.
Well, because we're taking down the CCP. No, shout out to that fucking show. No, it's because I support American business, man. That's the only way. It's not the only way that we can show for me anyway, show our support to what we believe in, which is shopping American and building American business. It's not going to be by banning China from doing anything. It's going to be by us putting our boots on the ground and doing what we can do, control the things that we can control, and just, do it like that. So if you're interested in buying American and then getting other people to buy American, then join us tonight. You can earn a income doing this, but you can also redo your whole home with things that are non-toxic, better for the environment, safer for your skin. I mean, it's an all-around win. So come on, join me tonight.
99% made in America, 1% Canada and Italy. So it's good products. All right. So yeah, the link is in the all the chats. If you want to click on it, we're going to be there at 7:30 Central. So 19 minutes from now, we'll be in that room telling you more about it. Again, we're not like hawking items. It's literally something that you're going to use anyways. Might as well shop American with high quality products. Hopefully see you guys there, and you get to bullshit with Casey and Cash and I. All right, Bobby, final words and where people can find you.
Well, you can find me at bobbysauce.com or at followbobby.com, either one, but bobbysauce.com is home base, at Take Naps on Instagram. Dude, I think what we did here today discussing TikTok is very important. I think that that's a crucial component, and I think that the fact that we have so many communication platforms that allow us to disseminate ideas and information, even if it's the wrong information, I think is better than the alternative. And I think that, anything that increases the power and authority of government to limit the distribution of ideas, be it from a perceived foreign adversary or not, I think is troubling, because you can't protect everybody from everything. And you could use this exact same argument that we used for TikTok about guns. They say, well, we got to start somewhere. We got to start with the AR-15s. Don't we want less people to die? And it's like, yeah, but like most of them are caused by handguns. So then sooner or later you're going to come for handguns. So yeah, the same reason why we don't want them to take AR-15s is the same reason why we don't want them to do this to TikTok. It's not about TikTok. It's about a variety of different things, and it's a slippery slope where we're giving and authorizing them to take more power. Thank you, Mr. Brownstone. So I think that I wish that more people were willing to have their ideas challenged and ultimately changed. I wish people would stop pretending that Donnie is some type of savior. I wish people would really start to hold him accountable. I wish people would stop looking at every single thing that he does and not criticizing it even in the slightest, because they want to be some type of team player. And I think that our downfall is going to be people sitting on their hands and waiting for him to get elected. And if he doesn't, then they're going to just say for the next 100 years how it was stolen again. I don't think there's a really good plan of action. I don't think there's a really good strategy, and I think that the influencer class has been so lobbied by him and invitations to his parties and so forth, I think puts us in a very vulnerable position. And I certainly hope we're not in for a rude awakening in November, but I think that if we don't at least keep talking about it, we're going to be in trouble.
I think that's a great way to end the show. By the way, I don't have the same black Awake Not Woke hat anymore because I gave mine to Oliver Anthony last week, right after our show. So Oliver Anthony I'm still waiting for him to show that hat on his show. Cash, do you want to wrap it up? Are we good? Do you just want to say let's see you later, or how do you want to do it?
No, are you sick? You've gone mad, man.
No, I know we're gonna do the final words, but let's really quick show this one more time, because this is Anthony protecting Cash.
You want to drop your messages there?
He doesn't want to see the guy get any more hurt than he is on the internet. And what is that?
So good.
Take me out to that ball game.
The guy get any more hurt than he is on the internet.
Go to sleep.
So good.
Go to sleep.
Sorry, I had to
punch your helmet off. That was great.
All right.
That was amazing.
Go for it.
So, look, before we go, if you haven't already, I'm telling y'all, go on Instagram, take naps. You will not be disappointed, or you might, but you would definitely be informed and have a fucking blast because the man goes on these rants that are better than any rant I've ever done, ever. It's great. So go check him out. All right. With that said, Casey, I love you. I hope you're not offended at us tonight. You are.
Oh, I'm offended.
Oh, but guess what? Guess what?
I'm not talking to you three fuckers ever again.
Hey, right here. Mi corazón.
Maybe
All right. Check it out. We're out of here. Love you guys. Come check us out tonight. If you haven't already, jump on there to that link that we've shared in the description or shared in the comment section. And, come check us out, man. Just come here and see what we got for you. That being said, unite. Don't fight. Be a street light because only you can be the change that you wish to see in the world. And when you get too stressed out, you got to remember to pray, America, because without God, everything falls apart.
Woo! Yeah, brother! Kind of looked like he was getting something in his dirt star in that, or am I crazy?
Aneurysm right now.
Man.
Oh, my God. That one kind of hurt just a little bit. Ow.
That's it.